folks, Dr. T back, and we have got the main portion of our book press done, and my lovely Cindy was able to do some stuff with her Cricut that kind of beautified this and really made it nice. Get you a close-up shot of that. Some little gold accents. Some gold accents on the frame top. And of course, you know, we got our brass acorn nut. So, I cut a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, stained it the red mahogany, and then the last thing that I have to do is this. Can't really see what's going on there. So this came in yesterday. It needs a little bit of love and attention, but and I had to bore out the center, which I figured I would. And that little protrusion there, I'll take it off. But you know, it's just about right. I may try to round this edge over because it's kind of a sharp edge. But the only way I'll have to make a mandrel to put this in a lathe. That had to be in a big lathe. And trying to machine that, you know, 18, I think 20 inches out, 20 or 21. It's going to be a real bear. It's going to sing and it's going to vibrate. It's going to have a harmonic resonance like no tomorrow. So I'll probably just clean it up. I'll bore out the center. I'll take this down, and then of course I'll cut a keyway so that it can be keyed on there. But you know, I'm really happy with it, and this part is done. I've got just a little bit more to do then on the hand wheel, and we'll call this project done. I got a couple other things going on today. I don't know whether I'll get it done today or not. I'm going to do my best, but I don't know. So anyhow, let's take a quick look around at it. I'm really happy with how it came out. All right, out for now. More to come later. All right, first thing we got to do is I want to get this handle out. Unfortunately, I don't have any acetylene for my oxyacetylene torch, so we're kind of stuck with what I have. All I want to do is put a little heat in that. I've got some PB Blaster metal. I'm just going to try to heat up the metal around that. Hopefully that'll cause it to wick some of that in there. And I don't need a big temperature differential, just a little bit. Oops. I'll catch my handle on fire if I'm not careful. Some heat in there. Again, all I'm trying to do is get this warmed up a little bit and to get some of that break free there. Oh yeah, it's good. So that wicked in there nicely. I'm gonna let that sit for a moment, and then I'll get a set of vice grips on that and see if I can't turn it out. Back in a moment. Alright, so let that sit a minute while I went and grabbed a set of vice grips. Got them on here, and yeah, it's gonna turn out. Gave myself enough room, did I? And I'm not worried about salvaging any of this whole thing. It's just going to be, I'm going to make a brass spindle for it, and I'm going to get some nice hardwood to make a handle out of that. Well, we were making good progress, but now it doesn't seem to want to turn out. Starting to think that maybe that's just peened in there. Alright. I'm going to center punch that and drill a divot in the back of it, and then see if I can't drive it out. Back in a minute. On second thought, it looks like it's just peened in there, and I think I'm just going to grind it a little faster if I can not mess up the backside of the wheel. Change the orientation a little bit so I can get to the bottom of it. So close. Let me get a punch and see if I can punch that out. It's just floating in there. Alright, let's see here. It's wanting to come. works there. Put you there so you can see. Oh, yeah. Get that off there. She is. Alright, so that wasn't terribly difficult. Like I said, I will let that thing go. In keeping with all the other elements of the press, I'm going to make this out of brass or bronze, probably brass. And then I'll make a hardwood handle for it that'll free float. And like I said, I'd really like to turn this edge over nice and smooth, but I don't think I'll be able to get it done. We'll see. But so anyhow, moving on to the next portion of this, back in a flash. All right, folks. So stymied again. I went ahead and it's basically 17.5 inches between center distance there, and so I got my chuck jaws. I was hopeful. I got my chuck jaws out, and they all clear. Like, yeah. And then I went to put this thing up here, and yeah. You can see down on the bottom I've got a 1/2 inch of clearance issue there. Just not going to work. So not sure what I'm going to do with it. I don't have a rotary table big enough either. I have a couple of rotary tables. I'm going to play around with it. I mean, with a rotary table, I could set it up in a mill, and then I could actually round this over with a ball end mill. It's not a bad proposition. Again, how do you hold this thing? Because everything tapers, because it's a casting. It's got a distal taper to it. So holding this thing will be difficult. And I have a 10-inch. I think my biggest rotary table is a 10-inch. I might have a big one. I have to look. Seems I recall buying a bigger one somewhere along the line, but I don't know. I haven't laid eyes on it in a while. So come back in a little bit as I think of another plan for this. Talk to you in a bit. Alright folks, here's what I've come up with. It's not a great answer, but it is an answer. So I put it on my rotary table. The biggest rotary table I had is 10 inches. is over here. And there was no good way to do it. I mean, you know, I could hold it, but you know, I would still have essentially 5 inches on each side just dangling out into space, and trying to cut the periphery of that, there's just no way it was going to work. It would have been a mess, and it would have been less than satisfactory results, and you know, had the potential to scrap the part. So after a lot of soul searching, what I've decided to do is I just chucked this up in the mill. Actually, I didn't chuck it up, I had to actually strap it down. Again, because it's cast iron, it's not you know, it's again distally tapered, so thicker here than thinner here. And so, you know, what I'm doing is I'm putting pressure on the rim, and then I'm bringing the center down, because this actually was just floating in space a little bit, and it still is, and it's not perfectly level. I mean, I can see that it's sitting at about probably a 6 or 7 degree angle here this way. It just, you know, it's an iron casting. It's probably 150 years old, at least 100 years old, maybe more. So I'm just doing the best that I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to surface this down to the thickness that I need, and then I'm going to bore this out to I think the shaft over there is 1 inch 8/10. It's just shy of 13/16, and I'm going to bore it to a closed fit, so I'll probably go to a 1 inch 8/15, something like that, because I want it to fit tightly. I'll bore that out, and then I'll come over here and I'll tap this, probably a 3/8/16, and then I'll go to town with a wire wheel and go to business. Our little baby dog is upset that she's not the center of Nikita.
She's stuck on
She's
Callie.
like, I want to see them cats. Anyhow, that's our little baby. There's our You're sketchy. Yeah, you're sketchy. Since I'm supposed to be sketchy, Dad, I'm a pirate. So anyhow, I'll bring it back here in just a little bit. I'm going to take a test cut on this to see how it performs, and then I'll bring it back. All right, here we go. It definitely was not square. I think it's cutting all right. That's what I think's happening. We'll find out here in a minute. there. 50 thousandths wasn't too bad. So we'll go to 125 or thereabout. A little over 50. Now we go 120. About 50,000. That cleaned everything up. I am going to go get a measurement and see how thick I want that, and then we'll come back and finish it off. Alright, so the actual, when the nut's screwed tight, it's 930 thousandths. So I want to shoot for about an inch. This is roughly 1.3, so I think about 300 thousandths off of it. Now if we do this, so I want to get that down, this nubbin down, so it's about 50 thousandths proud of the back, and then that'll be about right. I think I'm going to leave about 50 thousandths on the other side, and I'll flip it and I'll face that as well, and then that way I got two face sides. So that's what we're doing. Alright, I got that hole cleaned up as good, centered up as good as I could. Now we got a good true hole in the center, and gotta go measure and see what size I need. I'll basically step this up. It's a little over an inch, I think, but I don't recall right off the top of my head. Back in a moment. Alright, so yeah, our hole diameter is not over an inch, it's 810 thousandths. I remember as soon as I measured it. And so, what are we here? We are about 755, so that was a 3/4 inch. I'll go ahead and put the boring head in, and we'll come back and bore that out to size. 790, so I got about 25 thousandths to go. I don't know if I can get any more. There's 10. 20. And if we go a little bit. That's 810 on the nose. 811 that time. So I'm going to take it another 5 thousandths if I can get it. And call it good. Really hard on your machines, the cast iron dust. 817. I'm going to call that a win. We'll call that good. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center up on this hole. I'll see what the diameter of it is, and then like I said, I think it's going to be a 3/816. So I'll drill it 5/16. We'll come back in a minute. Alright folks, so I'm going to go ahead and make that a 3/8 inch 16 tap hole. So tap drill size for that is 5/16, and just eyeballing it. I might just go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and clean it out. Actually, you know what? I may just go ahead and tap it. I think I'll go ahead and I'll just tap that. That should be an easy tap. Right back. Alright, we're going to try and power tap that. That hole is just a little bit bigger than the tap drill size for a 3/816. So we're just going to see if this works. Oh, that didn't sound good. What we got going on up here? So that was easy peasy. There we go, we got a beautifully tapped hole. So I'm going to flip this over and machine the backside. Alright, I flipped it over and just snugging everything down. The hole's not perfectly in the center of that boss, but that's kind of the nature of castings. Just, as long as you're close. And honestly, then this is low speed. It makes no difference whatsoever. So I'm happy with it. That, change out this chuck. Alright, so I'm just going to bring it up until we make first contact. And I should have about 50 thousandths to take, so I'm not really worried. First contact. Zero out my Z, and just move on across there to clean it all up. Not quite. So take 25,000. That should be enough to clean that up and just leave a little bit. There we go. Yeah, they clean that up nicely. Get it out here so I can actually measure it. Huh? All right, and we're looking for 1 inch. I can't be right. I'm not sitting flat. All right, I'm 1 inch, 175. So, yeah, I must have had a bunch of chips in the bottom of the hole, and so I didn't get a real good accurate. That's fine though. So, which take? I'm gonna take 75 off. I'll do 50 at a time. I'll take 100 off, and then we'll remeasure and we'll see where we're at. So let's go 50. Oops. 150. I think it's going to wind up being just like it was on the other side, with just the slightest little loss coming up. And I'm okay with that. There's 50. Do another 50, make it 100. 100. Yeah, let's take 50. I think that'll be, it's still going to be a little taller than what I think I want, but you know what? I think it'd be just fine. Being attacked by a cat. What are you doing, cat? Yeah, I like that, I think. Turn that off. And, Callie, you want to be on TV? Come here. Come here. Oh. Callie's in charge of everything. All right, let's see where we're at now. 1 inch even. I'll take it. So we'll call that good, and now I got to do some wire wheeling. Back in a bit. All right, our first look at it. Yeah. It's really smooth. I like it. So I've got just a little bit of taper on this shaft. I'll have to, I don't know, I might ream out the back side of this a little bit as opposed to the shaft, because I really don't want to take it all back apart, but I guess if I have to, I can. But anyhow, I mean, I'm pretty darn happy with that. So, obviously now I got to spend an hour or so on the wire wheel and clean all that up, and then I got to make the little turn hand wheel for it. But coming right along. Thanks for watching. Hey folks, welcome back. I'm just now putting the final finishes on this. I know I said I was going to make a brass screw for that. I probably will at some point in time, but honestly, I've got a backlog of parts, and so it's going to get a regular old carriage bolt. I already turned a piece of hardwood down, stained it. It looks really nice. I had to cut this bolt off to size here as soon as this is dry. Got everything on here, but man, I gotta tell you, I like it. There it is, full. And there we are. I am super happy. So if you haven't, please like and subscribe. Got lots and lots of projects lined up here in the near future. Hope to see you there. Talk to you out. Have a good evening.